Welcome, everybody. Today, I'm going to be doing a modern shoegaze tier list. I'm probably going to ruffle some feathers, so please sit tight and don't hate me too much. Before I get into the video, though, please like and subscribe. That would help me out a bunch. Let's hit 20K or something, or 11K, or whatever you guys want. Also, excuse me if I look a little bit uncomfortable because I have my laptop on my lap, and it's just a weird setup right now because I've never screen recorded on my laptop and done a video like this before. So yeah, modern shoegaze bands. I feel like I know what I'm talking about because I like shoegaze, and a lot of people do as well. But when I mean modern shoegaze, I'm basically gonna be talking about a couple bands that started in the late 2010s and into the 2020s into today. So I'm basically not going to be talking about the whirs of the world. I'm not going to be talking about nothing, stuff like that. I picked out a couple bands that I think are worth talking about, and I apologize if I left out some bands because sometimes I'm pretty silly. So yeah, let's get into the tier list. I got a couple bands on here that I'm low-key mutuals with, so hopefully nobody unfollows me and hates me or whatever. I'm just going to be honest with you guys because I feel like that's the best type of content, just being honest. The bands I got on here, I got Quanic, Full Body 2, Kraus, Wisp, Glixen, Bleary-Eyed, Luster, Glare, Tagabout, aka They Are Gutting a Body of Water, Flying Fish, All Under Heaven, and Trauma Ray. I cannot stress this enough. If I forgot a band, let me know because I might be tripping. Yeah, my bad. Also, I want to make a point. There might be some people in the comments that are like, bro, you forgot about Julie. How could you forget about Julie? But every time people say Julie are a shoegaze band, dude, I love Julie. Nice people. Great people even. They made me feel like homies. Honestly, I never thought of them as shoegaze. What they fall under, in my opinion, is just alternative rock. And to people, that might be so boring because it's not a pretty, beautiful name like shoegaze. It's not a beautiful freaking name. And I'm just like, bro, they do not sound like a shoegaze band whatsoever. I mean, there's some implements with like influences of some My Bloody Valentine in there, but just because there's a little bit of the distortion and just that ruckus that they create, that doesn't mean that they're a shoegaze band. So yeah, I just want to get that out of the way. Hopefully you guys understand. Man, I'm a little bit nervous to make this video, bro. Jesus, this is a little bit nerve-wracking, but we're gonna do the best that we can. And the first person that we should start off with, I guess, is Trauma Ray. Now, Trauma Ray, they are from Texas. I'm not going to say where everybody's from, but I feel like I know they're from Texas. There's that. And I've seen them perform live, and sometimes I forget that. But then once I remember, I'm like, damn, that was a good show. So me forgetting them is not indicative of what their music is like. It's not boring or anything. But I will say, nowadays, I'm a lot higher on Trauma Ray. Back then, I was kind of like, okay, they're good. They're like in the middle of the pack. They're not too special, not too great. But after watching them live, I won't say that the live aspect impacted me a crazy amount, but they were good live, so there's that factor. But I listened to them more after that concert, and I was just like, wow, maybe I should just keep listening to this, see what happens. So what I'm going to do is put them at B. Not too shabby. I feel like they could get better with the new album, with new music, all that type of stuff. They can grow into an even bigger and better sounding band. To me, they're kind of that mixture of shoegaze and I guess grunge gaze, because they kind of have a little bit of those vocals that are a little bit, not grimy, but there's that oomph to them whenever I listen to them, especially in the assorted guitars, the way they lay out everything. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Hum, and you guys know, come on, man, I don't gotta say much. I love the band Hum. So that's where I'm gonna put Trauma Ray at B. I think that's kind of respectful. Some people would put them at A or S. I'm gonna put them at B. Next up, let's talk about the band All Under Heaven. I made a video a couple weeks ago, I think, about my favorite albums of 2024 so far, and All Under Heaven released an album this year, and they made it onto my list. I will say, dude, All Under Heaven, to me, back in the Alley Cat days, I had them D, C, which is kind of like disrespectful, but I'm being real, bro. That's just where I had them. And the more I listen to them, the more I'm into them, and the more I feel like they're just a mature sounding ass band. So not like an ass band, not like their butt cheeks. They're not good, but they're very good. And I feel like it's taken me a while to actually open up to them a little bit more. And it's kind of like that Trauma Ray, but I feel like I'm more into Trauma Ray's aggressiveness, if that makes any sense. Not saying All Under Heaven is just this sweet sounding, mellowing type of band. They're kind of destructive in their own way. But I will also put them at B, but behind Trauma Ray, respectfully. That album that they released this year, that's the name slipping my mind right now. I feel like they performed very well, and I love the production on there. Everything sounded very crispy and clean. And I've heard a lot of comments about All Under Heaven saying that the band kind of sounds a little bit different compared to their earlier stuff, and I understand that a little bit, but I don't see a too much of a change, really. So that's where I stand with All Under Heaven. Next up, let's get a little bit disrespectful. I'm gonna put Quantic at D. No, let me take that back. I'll keep it at D, but I want to kind of explain myself, and I feel like I'm not a hater like that anymore. See, back in my heyday, say about 3 years ago, stuff like that, I feel like I would be very disrespectful towards people that made some music that I was not really into. I feel like if I was a big shoegaze guy back then and listened to Quantic or whatever, I feel like I would just be like, this shit is ass. Sorry. I feel like I would be like, this stuff is butt cheeks. But I honestly sound so, or not condescending, but very annoying right now. I feel like I've matured enough to the point where I'm like, I understand this type of music. I understand. And the general sense whenever I listen to Quantic is that it sounds like SoundCloud shoegaze. And if you know me, even in my last video, I talked about SoundCloud and how much I was listening to rappers back then. It kind of gives me that exact same vibe, bro. If I was in high school and Quantic was popping, this is literally SoundCloud shoegaze, and there's nothing wrong with that in my opinion. I've even said in videos previous, like a while ago, I talked about Quantic, and I think it was in one of my hot takes videos where I was reading your guys' hot takes, and I feel like Quantic kind of, I don't know if he started the generation of now, like TikTok shoegaze or whatever, and I don't want to lump him into like Quantic TikTok shoegaze, but I feel like a bunch of people started listening to Quantic and wanted to kind of sound just like that. So in that terminology, I feel like you got to say that bro's influential to some extent. Is he the Lil Pump of shoegaze? I don't know. That's kind of much. I feel like there's some dope ass not production but guitar parts here and there. So respectfully, I would put Quantic at D, not trying to be too disrespectful, but that's just me. Flying fish. My boy. Literally my boy. I feel like that dude's so legendary right now because he's so young and he's producing at a high level with his production, his shoegaze, and his popularity on TikTok. I gotta put Flying Fish, respectfully. All the love in the world to my boy Flying Fish. I'm going to put bro at C just because obviously right now it's just instrumentals happening, but once there's more vocals, just Flying Fish is a talented human being, very talented human being, and a lot of people hate on bro, and I won't have it because I actually think that it takes a lot of talent for someone that young to just make music like that, have so many monthly listeners, 1.1 I believe, 1.1 million monthly listeners, which is crazy. I think he's 16 now. I don't really know. I think he just turned 16, which is still crazy young, dude. I'm 22. I'm about to be 23. I couldn't imagine. I was so dumb at this age. Like I couldn't, like back then, let me tell you, when I was 16, I was trying to do SoundCloud rap and I was trying to rap and I literally was terrible at it. I couldn't understand anything. And honestly, I was at that age where I was trying to produce beats and just be that type of musician, producer guy in the background that would be friends with rappers. That was what my goal was. And I know I'm going on a large tangent right now, but I'm just being real with you, man. This age and this quality and this talent and the vision this dude has, talented, I'm going to put him at C respectfully as well. And, yeah, dude, I said a bunch of nice things because I actually feel that way. So, yeah, dude, I'm not just glazing. So, Flying Fish does have potential to go, honestly, to S because he's so young and he has such humongous potential. And I'm excited to see what bro does moving forward. I believe he performed live or he's going to perform live. I believe. And I can't wait for that because the more you grow, the better music usually. So can't wait for that. Flying Fish at Sea. Next up, they are gutting a body of water. And I'm going to put them somewhere, and I'm not going to tell you yet. I want to talk about them first, though. When I first heard of Tagabout, aka they are gutting a body of water, which, by the way, fantastic name. Tagabout in itself as a acronym, I believe that's the word for a bunch of letters. Dude, that's pretty gas. And once I started listening to shoegaze more and more from this newer age, they were one of the bigger names, and understandably so. People talk about scenes and, you know, different states have a bunch of bands coming up, and back in the 90s you had grunge and, you know, Alice in Chains and Nirvana, all that stuff. But in today's age, in the shoegaze world, I believe, not even just shoegaze, just music in general, my favorite music comes from PA, the state, Pennsylvania. People make fun of me for saying that the way I do, but that's just how I say it. I'm from California, my bad. And they are gutting a body of water is absolutely, oh my god, my finger slipped. Hold up. They are astronomical. I'm going to put them at A, the first A, and it won't be the last A on my list, but they are gutting a body of water kind of is in that mixture of shoegaze and not grunge gaze. I don't like saying grunge gaze because I understand what people mean by that. You know, it's just combining a bunch of different subgenres and stuff. But they have such a unique way of making music, and their albums, they have a bunch of music out, which is very nice. I can't wait to hear what they have moving forward with all these freaking bands. I guess why I'm putting them at A is because they're just very unique, and the way they perform as well, I believe they turn their back on the crowd, which is just freaking aura. Yeah, a lot of aura in this band, and a very, very explosive band. If you heard them live, at least I've only listened to them live on YouTube and stuff of that nature, and I've seen their Audio Tree session. I was just like, bro, I don't know what's going on right now. These guys, everybody in the band is locked in, and they make beautiful music, beautiful shoegaze, a very loud band, and I feel like they are deserving at A, my first A spot. They're getting a body of water. Yo, are we going back-to-back A's in this, John? Hold up. Glare, A. No doubt about it. Glare at A. Should I explain myself? I guess I'll explain myself. They're kind of one of the first newer bands that really not exploded, but I don't know, man. They just kind of garnered this humongous fan base, and I don't know if it's because they're from Texas. It's honestly probably because of their lovely, lovely music. And you've seen with most of the bands on this list, they kind of not teeter between shoegaze, like OG shoegaze, and grunge gaze. Glare just reminds me of a slow dive. They remind me so much. I mean, they do have moments of humongous distortion and Deftones like vocals, I guess. Oh my god, what a comparison. But they kind of remind me of just OG shoegaze with pretty little freaking background noises and instrumentals, and I'm just in awe because they're a fairly new band, and honestly they don't have too much stuff out. I don't even know if they have an album out. Yeah, dude, they just have like an EP, couple EPs, couple singles, no album as of now, which is crazy because they have so many monthly listeners, I think about 500K, and dude, it's crazy to see their not just potential, but the hype, I guess, that they're able to create because they're going on tours with a bunch of legendary bands, dude. They've toured with so many bands, and they're continuing to tour with a bunch of bands. So it's exciting to see from a young perspective, I guess. I don't know. It's just cool to see when these bands are in the moment and you're kind of seeing them in that moment and they're just getting bigger and bigger. Glare, are they better than they are gunning a body of water? Are they better? Are they better? Dude, they might be better a little bit. They might be a little bit better than Tagabout. But these two are killing it. Jesus. Hell yeah, man. I got Glare at A, and that's all I got to say for right now. All right, next band on the tier list is Luster, and it's time to talk about Luster, man. An underrated band. I feel like they have a lot more music than I expected looking at their whole discography. They have a bunch of music out. Not only do they have a bunch of music out, but they have a lot of variety in there, man. They kind of have some low-key club bangers in there with some shoegaze mixture as well. So that's why they're in my shoegaze, modern shoegaze tier list. Like, yeah, dude. What I like about them is like that variety that I'm talking about. They're just that they kind of just utilize different types of sounds that I'm very into. And I don't listen to them as much as I would like to, but they are very entertaining. And their song Missing You, I loved that song. I loved that song that came out, I believe, earlier this year. I absolutely loved it. And, oh, dude, where do I put them? I don't think they're an A. I do think they're a B. But where do I put them in B is the question. Honestly, I'm going to put them in between or over here. Can I move this? Hold up. There you go. I'm going to put Luster in between Trauma Ray and All Under Heaven. And an underrated shoegaze band and band in general from this up and coming freaking age of music we live in. So, yeah, not too much to say about them, but I feel like they're very exciting with what they have to offer, and I don't know, just potential, I guess. So I would put Luster in between right there. Dude, are you kidding me? Next up, I'm going to talk about the band Bleary Eyed. You guys have no idea how good this band is, dude. And I know it's probably sounding like, I believe they're also from PA, and I'm not going to fact check that. I'm just going off vibes. I believe they're from PA. It might sound like I'm glazing PA. Like I said earlier, they're my favorite place of music right now, but I'm putting them, bro, glare, please. Okay. I'm putting them at A, at the top of A. Why am I putting them there? Let me explain. Explain that. I'll explain it right now. I enjoyed their sound a lot more than most of the bands on here, and I feel like they offer that juice, that new sense of sound, and it's not like they're creating something new. It's not like they're just, they're, what's it called? It's not like they're a genre-defining band, but to me, they are otherworldly. The music that they have out isn't too much, and I can't wait for an album to come out. Oh my god, why am I talking like that? I can't wait for an album to come out. Bleary Eye. Dude, they have so many bangers. I actually think they do have an album. I'm just being stupid. Yeah, they have 2 albums, my bad. But I'm talking about this new sound that they have. Dude, their Audio Tree session was gas. And their new song, Shimmer Away 2024. Are you kidding me, dude? They kind of just utilize shoegaze in this computer gaze, techno, freaking Minecraft outro from 2010, 2011 YouTuber status. That's the kind of mixture they kind of have, which just tickles my brain and really soothes my whole entire life and stress. And I'm just a big fan, man. Hopefully I get to interview them as well in the future. I don't know when they're going to be coming to California, but yeah, man, I can't wait for that because this band is essential whenever you're thinking about modern shoegaze bands. They are a must, in my opinion. Also, sorry if I'm looking down too much. I'm looking at the freaking screen and it's distracting me because I should be looking at you guys too, but I'm not good at this. So bear with me here. I apologize. And honestly, if it's not really that big a deal, thank you. Please give me a compliment or something. Next up, Glixen. Now, for those of you who don't know, I've interviewed them. Very good friends of the show, Dumptoes, I guess. And they kind of rock. They're very nice people. So I'm not trying to use any bias here. I'm going to put them at B. I'm going to put them right here for now. Let me just explain myself and then I'll figure out where they go in B. But their sound, destructive. Their vocals, very pretty. And the whole band is, as a whole, the chemistry is unfolding. Everybody has a different personality whenever you watch them live, and that's the best thing I could say about them. The drummer, are you kidding me? Freaking obliterating everything on the drums. Guitar, both guitarists, amazing. Esteban, my boy, literally going crazy with the guitar. And the bass, are you kidding me, bro? Whenever they release their new EP, I believe is what they recorded recently. When I asked them, when I talked about them or to them, LOL. Yeah, I feel like they're gonna absolutely crush it, and then they'll go towards the A. So I'm gonna put them ahead of Trauma. I'll put them ahead of Trauma. And the sky's the limit with all these bands because everybody's young and just creative and all that stuff. Glixen can most certainly go in S tier in the future. For now, I'll put them at B. And I love everything about that band, dude. They're kind of, I didn't expect to like them as much as I did. Not in person, but music-wise. I knew they'd be cool in person. No, actually, I thought they would beat me up or something. I actually thought they'd be really mean. No, I'm joking. They weren't going to beat me up. I would have ran away. Next up, Wisp. I was listening to her EP when it came out and recently, and I haven't been trying to convince myself that I either love or hate these bands or whatever. I've just been listening to the music, and I've been seeing what's coming to me once I listen to the music and give you guys my honest opinion. And when I listened to the EP, I was like, okay, I like this. I like this a lot, but a little bit of repetitiveness, I want to say. Now, me personally, it's always going to work whenever it's the lead up to the distortion and it's like, and then the vocals come in. Are you kidding me? That'll always get me. That stuff is awesome to hear. I love playing it. I love listening to it. I love hearing everybody's interpretation of that built up, lead up, destruction mode, beat drop. I love that. But I felt like I heard a lot of it on this EP that released recently earlier in the year. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because I thought there was a lot of good songs on there, but that's my one takeaway where I was like, man, where's the little bit of variety? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's use a different mode of activation. But I spoke too soon because I was listening and I listened to the song Luna. That is by far Wisp's best song, without a doubt. Wisp channeled a different gear in that song where I was like, oh my goodness. It's not too much destruction going on, but it's that soft, sweet voice with the background. It just felt like it was wind going perfectly in motion. And that's all I can think about when I was listening to that song. And it was so different. And I'm not saying like it's a freaking the best song I've ever heard in my entire life, but it was so good. I was like, my goshness. I'm gonna put, honestly, dude, surprising, I'll put them at A, dude. I put Wisp at A, and it kind of sounded like I was talking trash that whole time. It sounded like I was gonna put them at D or C or something like that, but no, I would put them at A. It would be like an A minus if I had to get real into detail about each letter. That Luna song really changed my opinion. I had Wisp at, honestly, a B flat, just a B, but I'm happy with Wisp at an A minus, kind of. Next band on my list is the band Kraus, and I might be ruffling some feathers because, honestly, I have a lot of good things to say about Kraus, but I'm going to put, it's not too much bias, it's honestly just like what I would listen to, and I guess, is that bias? I don't know. There's so many factors into it, but I would put Kraus at C, ahead of Flying Fish. Shout out Flying Fish. Now, a lot of people watching this might say that is ridiculous. I'm clicking off this video, disliking everything, all that. I totally get it. But let me say the good things about Kraus, because there's a lot of good things. I feel like I got smarter after I listened to Kraus. I felt like that was smart shoegaze, and it felt very calculated, felt very in your face, but in the most nicest way possible. I don't know if that's the right words for that, but that's what it felt like when I was listening to Kraus. But in my opinion, if I had to pick a Kraus song, I don't know what I would go with. Honestly, I would show Kraus to people who are getting into the modern shoegaze. The general consensus of Kraus would probably be A to B. Honestly, it would just be A because you hear a lot of good things. Everybody loves Kraus, and I totally get that because there's so much to like. But it's just something that doesn't really connect, I guess, to my ears and my brain. And I wish it wasn't like that, but sometimes you can't connect to bands, and it's really, that's all it is at the end of the day. So I would put Kraus at C above Flying Fish, but they're kind of even, you know. It's kind of even to me. And finally, I have Full Body 2. Get out of my face. This is S tier. Absolutely S tier. No doubt about it. S tier. Let me talk to you about Full Body 2. Are they changing the game? In my opinion, yes. They are changing the game. They're kind of a little bit like Bleary Eyed, but I feel like Full Body 2 are fully into this dimension creating, dimension defining, otherworldly product for the ears of the listener. Video game-esque as well. Computerization all up in there. The shoegaze, everything perfectly mixed up all together. I can't believe when I was listening to this, I was like, I can't believe a bunch of people actually, I think there are 3 people in the band. I can't believe 3 humans created such beautiful noise. And some people might find this noise kind of annoying, but it's so beautiful. It is literally, oh my, I literally could listen to Full Body 2 forever and I wouldn't get annoyed because it just stimulates my brain and it provides a lot. It provides this new flavor to me. It provides this lyrical, not masterclass, but the lyrics are there and it's comforting and everything together wrapped up is S tier without a doubt. And the only S tier on here, could I argue other bands? Honestly, no, dude. No, not really. Full Body 2 S tier, without a doubt. So, my list ranking goes, should I go from the bottom to the top? Yeah, let me do that. Quantic at D. Flying Fish, Kraus at C. All Under Heaven, Luster, Trauma Ray, Glixen at B. Wisp, Tagabow, Glare, Bleary Eyed at A. And Full Body 2 at S tier. I truthfully don't feel negative at all towards any of these bands. And you could totally see that because most of the bands are up in the A, B category, S tier as well. I got no hate for anybody. Some of these bands, I don't know. Flying Fish, I see the vision, and I do like Flying Fish. I do like Kraus as well, so I don't want to make it seem like I despise Kraus because that's what it kind of sounded like in my head or out loud. So I am happy with my list. Sorry if I left out some bands, and yeah, dude, my bad if I left them out, but it is what it is. This is my tier list. Thank you for watching. Please don't hate me. Like and subscribe. Keep the music alive. Shoegaze tier list will never die.